Hi, I'm Mira, and this is my psychedelic story. I'm 25 years old. I grew up in Florida, and I love to dance. I love to sing. I love my friends and my family, my rabbit moon. So I remember it was New Year's, and it was in Canada, and we don't have to say that, but it was New Year's Eve, and I drank mushroom tea. And this was my first time doing a heroic dose of mushrooms, and I remember the visuals being super intense. It was like I was seeing so many things, and it kind of felt like I was a little bit overwhelmed by the experience. I think going into psychedelics when I first began, I was going into it more of like a party setting with not much knowledge of, how it should be properly used as medicine. And it was really intense for me. But what really stuck out about the experience was that I seemed to be faced really intensely with all of the issues or things that I had within me that needed to be worked on. And it was like all those anxieties and things like that were really brought to light. And it was probably a combination of being in the wrong environment and, you know, also just having a lot of things that I needed to work on at the time. But it wasn't necessarily a pleasant experience for my first time, unfortunately. But it was still very profound and stuck with me for a long time, and I'm grateful for it. I would say that like my relationship with psychedelics, mushrooms especially, has um, grown into something beautiful over time. Whereas in the beginning, it was something that was a little bit scary for me and overwhelming. Um, I feel like every time I had a trip, I learned something, and I feel like the medicine has something to teach everybody. And actually, what I realized is that whenever I started taking mushrooms, I would have these really intense, almost like anxiety attack, panic attacks. And until I sat down and meditated and listened to what was going on in my body, I wasn't able to really enjoy it. But when I started to do that, I started to realize, oh, this is like helping me to face the things that I have going on inside. Because I had a lot of anxiety back in the day. And every time I would do mushrooms, it would make it even more intense. So then whenever I was sober, it was almost like I knew I could handle it. I'm like, well, I survived that, so I know I can survive this. And it really helped me in terms of like panic attacks and anxiety. And yeah, like if there's ever a time where I feel really uncomfortable or really just emotional on mushrooms, I'll sit down and I'll sit with the feeling and I'll try to find like what is this medicine trying to show me and trying to like help me work through. So it's really good. I right now I'm in a place where I just microdose and I just feel more connected to source, God, the universe. I feel like I can flow freely. I love to dance, and just like connect to my body. And it always feels like I'm healing in some way, whenever I'm on them now. So my my experiences with them have definitely gotten more positive over the years. I feel like just going into it, like right off the bat, especially taking higher doses can be really overwhelming. But I feel like over time, like microdosing and getting comfortable with the sensations and the feelings and watching that anxiety and stuff that I used to feel transmute into something beautiful and euphoric, and like bringing out this playful, childlike side of myself. Um, it's really beautiful watching that, you know? It's like an inner alchemy that happens. It's really powerful. I also think that we just are more perceptive on mushrooms too. Like we're able, like at least I feel like I'm able to connect with nature, connect with animals, connect with others, like in a more profound and intimate way, you know? I think it's beautiful. I think it's connected me more to myself. Like there was this one time that will really stick with me forever. And I did mushrooms alone, and I did have a bit of anxiety, but I was able to break through that and just really connect, with myself. And I remember looking in the mirror, and it felt like for the first time I saw myself through the eyes of love, like true love. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, I will never forget you. And I still have never forgotten that. So I feel like mushrooms have brought me closer to myself, my soul, you know? It's like it's peeled away all of these layers of like ego and fear and all these things and like brought them to the surface in the light. And then a breakthrough happens, you know what I mean? Sorry to explain, but I would say that my most profound insights from my experiences with mushrooms have been, or my most profound, okay, I would say that my most profound insight from my mushroom experience would be to be, I'm always reminded to be grounded and rooted in love and using that vibration and energy as my anchor when times get tough or when a trip is, bringing some things to light and I'm having anxiety. I can always remember that. And whenever I ground myself in love, I can feel it, you know, most profoundly on mushrooms. So it's a really beautiful thing that been able to apply in my day to day life as well. The way that I first started grounding and rooting myself in love on mushrooms it was actually when I was having a really intense experience. I took a small amount, but I didn't realize it was more potent than I thought it was. And I got this intuition, this feeling that I needed to lay down and meditate. And it was like in my brain, there was this dialogue, and it was almost like a meditation. But it talked about, I'll kind of recite it back to you. So it said, all of the pain, all of the sadness that you've experienced, you've kept tucked away for a very long time, buried somewhere far away, but you can still feel it resonating and pulsing. You need to, actually, I said, all the pain that you've experienced in your life, you've kept far away, buried, and locked in a chest. But you can still feel it resonating and pulsing and present. You need to go to that chest, open it up, hold that pain in your hands, and say thank you for what you've taught me. Thank you for getting me to where I am today. And I remember just feeling like holding my pain in my hands, giving myself empathy, and just sitting with that, just being what I needed to do and like honoring the pain. And it it's like it brings about a sense of acceptance and forgiveness and love. And then I remember um, just feeling like going and laying down with my rabbit. And that's what really helped connect me with that. And as I was laying with her and petting her, all my anxiety soothed. And I remembered, that to breathe and connect and ground and root in love and loving feelings. So, if I didn't have my rabbit, then I would simply just like hold and sit with myself, or if you have a partner, like hold and sit with your partner and just get into that soft and comfy space within yourself where you can feel and give and receive love. Well, I would also like to talk about, I think that psychedelics has really helped me in terms of my addictions and, being addicted to alcohol. Um, I have had my struggles with alcohol in the past, and I think that mushrooms have, you know, given me an outlet to feel stimulated and connected and be able to like let loose a little bit and get into my body and, dance and have a good time without damaging my body. And I mean, I'm so grateful for them. I mean, alcohol definitely keeps you at a low vibration. I feel like mushrooms are something that, if you allow it to, can help you to like raise your vibration and tap into like higher states of consciousness. And it's definitely a journey within the self. Everyone's mushroom experience is going to be very personal, and the things that come up, and just the feelings and sensations. It's all medicine, you know. So, and instead of alcohol, which is basically poison.